That being said, it's your guy Anthony Mitchell coming at you guys live this morning with a new episode of the End Zone Club. Do me a big favor. I need you guys to hit the like, subscribe, share, rate button from whatever platform you're listening to so that we can get put in that algorithm where they recommend this podcast and all of this inspirational stuff and stories we've been sharing. We need this in the queue, guys. We need to be able to reach more people. That will help us to get more supporters, and by getting more supporters, we can do more. But with that said, guys, what's up? It's been a minute. It's been a few weeks since I put a new episode out, and I feel badly about it. However, let me say that the military had tapped me on the shoulders. I have been in California for the last 2 weeks, and while I was in California, a lot of eventful things happened, maybe some of which we will cover today and make a positive spin on it in a way that you guys can get content from it as well. But with that said, guys, please help me get this podcast out. If you want to be a financial supporter and just even donate $1, everything you give helps. But with that said, guys, got an opportunity to go out to California, Northern Cal, and we did some things out there at an Air Force base, helped support some missions, and it was a pretty cool experience. Have never been to Northern Cal. I've been to Southern Cal, which is Anaheim, been to Santa Barbara, seen the LA area as well as the Lompoc area and some of the surrounding places. And it's pretty cool, when you as a visitor get a chance to go into new places and experience new things. And it was good. In the South, we're kind of homogenous in our cultures. But when you go out other places and you see how they live, how they eat, y'all, it makes you a better person getting outside of your bubble and just kind of getting, ingratiated in other cultures and just seeing what it's about. And while we were in California, did get a chance to have some real Hawaiian barbecue, guys. I promise you, put that on your bucket list. You will not be disappointed. Now, I know I eat Memphis barbecue all the time, and I'm kind of partial to it, but once I had Hawaiian barbecue, I was like, you know what, we're not the only ones that can do this. And that's one of the good things. One of the things that allows us sometimes in our thought processes to stay how we are is that sometimes we get a thought about things, whether it's our culture, whether it's our way of doing things. We get used to things being a certain way. And as a result, because they're a certain way, what we do? We stick to that. I was listening to the rapper T.I. Y'all know T.I., who has been having some issues with his son, King. Now, King has been viral for a lot of things, mainly negative. Of course, that's usually what causes viral moments, is when people have something to talk about. And a lot of people have been really saying some things about his family. Now, for me, a lot of times I try not to get caught in the fodder of the lives of celebrities because I know so little about them. Never met most of these guys that I don't have much to say. I know how their actions impact our culture, and that's where my crossroad comes in at. If I feel like maybe something you're promoting is maybe good for the kids or something you're promoting is bad for the kids, that's where I come in at. However, as far as what goes on in people's personal homes, I try to withdraw judgment because I don't have enough information about what really goes on outside of what the media shows or what social media shows. And I was really, as I listened to T.I., who's been having these issues with his son, begin to share his take on what his son is going through, I got a newfound appreciation for his viewpoint. And what he was basically saying was that as a parent, he has done all that he can do, from providing discipline, both conventional ways of discipline from what he was taught versus, taking things away from them versus trying to put them in a situation where his life was better than the way he grew up versus consistency as a father and being hard and tough and also providing love and all of these things he's provided for his son. But he realizes that as a parent, he's done his job, but now his son is at a crossroads because his son is in a struggle with his identity of trying to be something he's not to impress people who don't know him for who he is. And as I'm listening to this scenario, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is something we've talked about on this podcast before. But there are a lot of people that will put themselves in situations to be liked and loved and laughed with by people who don't even like the real you or don't know the real you, or people who don't see the potential that has been invested in you, because sometimes people don't intentionally want the best for you other than having something to talk about. As I'm hearing this rapper, as he's sharing this story, my mind is all over the place because there are a lot of young people that will spend so much time doing things just to be liked. Insert your favorite example, right? I'm telling you, I am blown away by how many of us even shape our narrative for how beautiful we are or how attractive we are or how smart we are based upon standing in the image and shadow of somebody else. I'm telling you, the more I live and the more people I meet and the more stories I hear and the more I talk and the more communication comes back to me, you would be surprised how so many of us have so many imperfections that others don't see, that we're in this rat race of competition where we want to be liked and we want to be seen by everybody around us. And it's like, sometimes these people have things about themselves they don't see, they don't like, that you don't see, that they don't like. There was a post I read several years ago, and this might have even been on MySpace. I hate to date myself, but the post talked about, it was like titled 30 things that you didn't know about your favorite celebrity. And what this was like they took like some of the most beautiful celebrities and they shared imperfections about them that you didn't know. There was like one celebrity that basically had a split thumb that looked like a like a snake's tongue. Never knew it. Just through creative videography, you never saw it in any of the movies, right? Or for example, for me, when I met Morgan Freeman, I don't know how I missed this story, but he does not have use of his left hand. Like he kind of, the way he does it, you don't see it in the movies. It's very creative how they shoot him. And you'll see this about other guys or people. So as we are in this point where we are comparing ourselves with other people, do know that there are things about others that you don't see that should basically rule out you wanting to be in competition with them. That's why when, for example, we lose certain celebrities in self-inflicted wounds, it blows our mind because the first place we go to are the things about them that don't bring true happiness. Oh, they had all the money. Oh, they had popularity. But none of that brings happiness. You hear a lot of people that are sitting on top of the world. You hear a lot of people that have made it to what they consider to be that point in their journey where they've made it. And they say, I often feel all alone. Have you guys ever heard any of those stories? You listen to a lot of rappers and they're putting out all this music, and you can tell if you listen long enough, this is a lonely individual. And then we get, up in arms when they do something stupid for attention. But let's go to the root of it. There's a lot of unhappiness in a lot of people because they haven't learned to celebrate themselves in a healthy manner. Celebrate what God has done in their lives in a healthy manner, who he made, who he created. So they're always trying to find something else to be excited about. I promise you guys, you and you alone, I don't care if you're short, if you're pudgy, I don't care if your head is 78 inches wide, I don't care if your nose is wide, I don't care if you're skinny and you feel like people are unfavorable about your beauty that God created. However God created you, that alone is enough. Don't get caught in popularity contests. You don't have to feel a certain kind of way because maybe some things are invite only, some groups are invite only, some doors seem to be invite only. When you know who you're connected to, which is the one that sits high and is above everything. Once you realize you were connected with something that's greater than any of the temporary things we're trying to find satisfaction with, it gives you a greater peace. I used to have this thought process growing up that I'm going to be 6'2.5", 6'3", and I'm going to be a starting point guard for the New York Knicks. And I promise you, God laughed at my plans. He made me 5'9.5-ish. Thought I was going to be about 215 solid muscle. No, maybe give me a 24% body fat count. I didn't make the cut. But ultimately, God was like, that's not what I wanted to attract people to your ministry anyway. Basketball wasn't the way for you to go. You thought maybe you had some football skills, but it wasn't enough to make the cut. But what I can do is use your desire for sports and turn it into ministry. What I can do is put your ability to talk to people on the forefront, and that will now bring in NBA players. Now that will bring in NFL stars, but it's something I myself had to become comfortable with. That even as I'm around some of my NFL friends, I don't feel a need to tell that one story from football that would let them know I played football. I don't do that because that's not where my confidence lies. God gave me something else to make me be who I am, and that's where I'm confident in. I promise you, there are always going to be people that are stronger than you. There are always going to be people that are going to get more attention than you. There are always going to be people that are going to be things that you're not, but that doesn't make you any less. You have to get comfortable in that. So circling back to T.I. as he's sharing this about his son, I'm looking at this through the lens of a parent. I'm looking at this through the lens of a youth pastor and somebody that has had my own struggles in areas and will still struggle. I'll always need God's grace. I'll always need God's mercy on my life. But because I had this reality, it helps me not to say things about his son that naturally we would want to say anytime we see kids acting up a certain way. I've got an 18-year-old. We've got a 22-year-old. Things happen. At 18, at 22, man, that's all I'm going to say. But I'm realistic. I'm realistic about my expectations of others. You guys understand what I'm saying? But man, with that being said, guys, California was beautiful. Got a chance to see the Bay Area for the first time. And for those who know, I'm a 49er fan. So I got a chance for the first time in my life on a weekend when we weren't working. We drove down to San Francisco, got a chance to see the Bay Area. Unfortunately, somebody knocked the window out of our vehicle while we were there, stole some of my military stuff, stole my bag, my uniform, lost some things. I was kind of not happy about it, but I'm going to share that story next episode, how God took something bad and turned it into good. But anyway, went down into Santa Clara, went and visited the Winchester House, which is really not my cup of coffee, but when you're a part of a group, you do things together. There's safety in numbers. And then from there, we went to the Blessed Levi Stadium, and I got a chance to see it firsthand and bless the season. And what did we do? We dropped the first game of the season in prime fashion against the Chicago Bears. But guys, I had a good time. It always brings me joy anytime you can do things, even militarily, ministerial, parentally, or whatever we do. Anytime you're able to set the tone to bless others and to bring value to someone else's life, it's a blessing. So we made some good friendships out there. We enjoyed the moment, but we are back. And from all of that, I was able to come back with some good content for this podcast, but it needs your support. So like, share, subscribe. Please start donating, guys. Start donating. Let's get these numbers up because I'm getting ready now. We're coming back into that peak season where I'm going to start bringing premier guests on now. I'm going to start back doing that again. We're going to start bringing them on. But through your support, I'll have things to offer those who come on. So with that said, this is another episode. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have as well. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's have a blessed day, because this is the day that the Lord hath made, and in it we will rejoice. Rejoice in spite of anything you're going through, no matter how bad it looks on your behalf. Do know that every bad experience, every bad part of your journey, all of them have exits, and yours is coming up. So until next time, be blessed.